So I'll just say get some get mapping, and then I wanna get I wanna have I'll have a parameter here called an ID like this. Then in here now, this one should now be admit to this public function, and I want to return a response entity, but this one I want to return the student. I just say response entity and then return the one particular student out of this get. I say just get one student, and then in here, remember, we have the param, the path variable, yeah, that we are calling, that we are putting there as an ID, and then this one should be along ID. Then this ID is what now we'll use to go to, this one is at get mapping. So this is what we want to use to go and fetch one particular student. So we can just say the student will be the student repo, the student repo dot the student repo dot, so this one should be the student repo dot I'll want to find by ID, so this one should be get one student. Then I'll just say student repo. Okay, so let's say I want this student is equals to, but now this one I just want to say, because it could, the student could be existing or not, so I'll just say this one can be an optional, and then student repo dot get by ID or find by ID, find by ID, the first one. So if I say now I want to find this student by ID, then I put that ID there, so it should be able to return for me if the student is there or not. So here I'll just want to return the student dot, so I'll just map this to my kind of response that I want. So I'll just say any student that you find within that, you can just modify and say. So there's also this option whereby you can just say response entity dot okay, and then out of that, now that is a function that will be called within the map, or else just do return for me a response entity with dot not found, because it means the student was not found, but otherwise return for me an okay and tell me that the student was deleted successfully. Yeah, so that should be it. Let me see where I'm having an issue. So this one you can see target type lambda conversion must be an interface. Just say response entity dot not found. Let me see, or else get, yeah, it should be or else get. Then so this one we should be able to get one particular student. So let's rerun our app again, maybe test that one for getting one particular student. So in here I'll say maybe I want to get this student ID 7, so I'll just create another, I'll just duplicate this and say get ID, and then in here I'll just say get student dot ID 7, and then I'll try it out. So it should give me one student who is Jane. That is very perfect. And so finally we'll create one last one for, because it's a CRUD, so one more for update. So we can just have one more API to just do update. So this one you can say post mapping, but you give it maybe a parameter of put and stuff like that, or you can just automatically say put, which is the best way of just saying put mapping. And then on this put mapping, we want to have the ID also, because we want to delete a specific item. So we want to just say I want an ID here in the query param, and then as usual you just create public response entity, then you say student or string or whichever, then you say update student, and then you go here and say now in this update we want to do two particular items. First is to get the student if they exist, and then if they exist, then our second option will be now fixing, or rather updating some parameters. So this one I'll just say, let me see, there's path parameters, path variable rather, and then this one still will be along, should be an ID. So let's first get this particular student. So just say optional student, then student who is optional is equals to student repo dot get, you can say find by ID, and then because ID is the parameter that we are having, and then we'll now have an if the student who is optional student dot is empty. So if this student is empty, then we know there is no student, so we can just return. So we'll do it differently from the delete one. So we can just say if this one student is not found, then we can return response entity dot not found dot so build this. Yeah, so we return that, and then we can continue now with the update. So if the student exists, we'll just say student, and then we create existing student is equals to, now we'll get from the optional student that we are having, we can now get this particular student that was fetched. And then that one now will mean the existing student, we can now set whichever, because now we have also long book, so you can set whichever item that you want. So for example, you can set their email to maybe updated email dot test or something like that. Also you can update the rest of the item. Let's say we want to update, maybe set the active to maybe true or false or stuff like that. Or maybe we have a request also here that we wanna fix. Let's say we have a request here that we have submitted, which is you can say there's a request body, which is a body of same as student, and then we want to say updated student or student request. I usually love to call it like this. So maybe you want to say this one, you want to pass it on the API and then just come here to update. So you just say that one dot get email, whatever we have put on the API, and then this one dot get active, so that we just put these ones on the API the way they are. So maybe say this active won't work for our case. You can just say get, or maybe is active or stuff like that. Yeah, so request dot is active, is it true or false? Then we can say student dot get email, and then those ones now will get from the request. One more thing that we need to do is now to save this student. So we just go and say student repo dot save, then this existing student that we have updated, and then after that now we can return a response entity, and then we say dot okay, and then we can just put some more meat to it and just say maybe return that student data to our request. So let's run this and then we test that and see. So in here we'll just use one of these, the one that we had for update. So I'll just duplicate this and then I'll just say put student with an ID. So I'll just come here and say this is a put. So I want to put this student with a particular ID in here. So we have these, let's get all the students first. So let's say we want to update Jen's email to something different. So this is ID 7. So we just come here and say so ID 7, that's our parameter, then is Jen, but now say here is the my updated email, gmail.com, and then Jen, maybe you want to add another name, maybe here's here there's surname, and then we can try this now to submit this. So you'll see you'll have my updated email, and then Jen's full name should be updated also. I don't know if you updated the full name, but let's just see again how they appear. Yeah, so this email is updated. The full name is not updated because we didn't update the full name here. So you can just say set full name is equals to this one dot get full name. So if we rerun this and we do the same, we will be able to update plus the full name. So you can just tap on this, wait for the server to start. It's taking some time. There we go, and then we can just post it here, and then that's it. So Jen is updated, and once we put here we can still see Jen is updated. So far so good. Thank you for that. Now let's do one more episode on the versioning as a separate video. So see you in the next one. Thank you.